So it's kind of like a will it fit beans thing. I don't even know if it's gonna fit in my biggest pot. It's gonna be 25 pounds of beans right here. It's actually 11. Kind of the dry weight is 3, and it's soaked up. 3 pounds of dry beans soak up about a gallon of water, which is like 8 1/3 pounds, but you know, call it 3 and 8 for 11. Some regular tomatoes, and then this is some, I guess, Creole style tomatoes. And they got the green peppers and the celery. It's like 14.5 ounces each, you know. And then I got these, 2 aromas, 1 beefsteak. So it's kind of like with those, you know, on this, you know, it's kind of like a pound and a pound, 16 instead of 14.5. Just guessing. 4 onions. Should be about 2 pounds, I'm thinking. They're not the biggest onions. 1 pack of celery. There's no weight on it. I don't think there is, but it feels like about 2 pounds. 3 green peppers. Green pepper per thing. I would like to have 2 green peppers per pound of dry beans. You know, 1 green pepper per half pound of beans, but it would just be too much stuff, you know. This is going to be a lot of cans. 3 pounds of sausage. So I got some, oh, and 3 pounds of chicken. Another 3 pounds of chicken in that bag, defrosted overnight. This is some Bar-S smoked sausage, 2.5 pounds. I had some last night, had a couple. And this is actual andouille, just under, that's 14 ounces, just under a pound. So it's kind of like those two together. That one, you know, instead of being 2.5 pounds, which it's labeled as, since I had a few, it's, you know, probably like 2.2 pounds or something. This is a little, this needs 0.2 pounds, you know, so together there's 3 pounds. So I got chicken and pork sausage, and pure pork sausage to go in it. This is going to be some jambalaya beans. 25 pounds of jambalaya beans. Will it fit? So this is 3 pounds of black-eyed peas. Trying to figure out how many beans I can cook without them going bad. Looks like I'll never know. This is just how many beans I can fit in a pot. These have been soaking overnight. I'm gonna put them on the in the solar oven. It's got a fresh chain of water and some bay leaves. So I'm gonna give it some chicken bouillons. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a little more. I'm gonna cook it in this. My really big spoon. That'll mix. It's hard to say if this will cook today. It should be kind of sunny. I think there's maybe a 30% chance of rain, but you never know. So it's kind of like, it's actually, this chicken bouillon is actually MSG and beef fat, and then they put some powdered chicken in it. So it's not really chicken bouillon or chicken stock, but I'm gonna call it chicken stock because that's what's labeled. And it can't hurt having a little MSG, but probably not good either. So this will maybe do some cookings to see how the clouds go But otherwise, it's kind of just a continuation of the soakings while I get the other ingredients. Call that good. It's cloudy yesterday, like today. So, I doubt it did any real cooking, but it did manage to get some foam up to the top. Look at that. Beans will foam up, dry beans, when you cook them. Not the prettiest thing. Then it's like making sugar from sugarcane sap. You scrape off the foams. No, you don't have to. For making sugar, you do. Some people say that it's the foam that gives you the gas. I don't believe it. I believe it's just a lack of proper gut bacteria from not eating enough beans, which gives you the gas. Your body's like, what is all this bean stuff you're putting in here? Why don't you build up a good colony of gut bacteria, you're fine. That looks good. Give it a stir. Look how fresh and clean it is. So I'm going to pop this in the furnace with some woods. That'll be those are some spare Lincoln logs. Lincoln log. They're sitting over there. So cut them up. You can't see the Lincoln in the log. Right there, the Lincoln. Never needed them. So might as well use them. It's cloudy, but not rainy. It's 2 months now with, one real rainstorm in the last 2 months. So they're nice and dry. I might as well use them. They're out there. Might as well use them before they get wet. Alright, so I'm going to put this on the fire and then start cutting up my other things. It's going to be a bunch of stuff. So that's the tomatoes off the vine. Those 3 little ones. And then there's a full garlic. And then the 4 onions, 3 green bell peppers. So I'm not cutting up the celery just yet. I'm going to get kind of fancy with this. I'm going to cut up my meats now. My sausages and my chicken. Put that in there. And then fry this in some lard. Maybe use up the lard. So I'm going to cut up these meats next. And give them a fry with those things. Meats cut up. The pork sausage. And a chicken and pork smoked sausage, smoked sausages, and chicken. Fry it up with a bucket of lard. You gotta have a bucket of lard. Lard's actually good for this one, pig fat. Oh, and Walmart actually does sell multiple fats. Didn't know it before, but they do. I like a spoon and a half for every ½ pound of beans. So there's like, I should probably count that. But it'll be 9 spoons of fat. I'm gonna give it. I think that was 4, 3. These are kind of small, so I really don't have enough. That's actually scraping the bottom, but don't worry. We don't keep a spare tub of lard laying around for situations just like this one. You're really not living. So I got a spare tub of lard back there, and I got some oil, you know, but this is really a lard situation. That looks like it's going to end up being about 9 though. You know, that's about, I've pulled about half of it and put it in here, and that was like 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest of the tub in there and then fry this. Really not that much. So I'm going to give it a couple more spoonfuls of lard. New one. This is like Christmas. It's been around for a while. Bad thing about lard candles is they make a lot of smoke, and the smoke, you know, sticks to everything. Good thing about lard candles is the smoke smells pretty good. You know, it smells like you're frying meats. It's a beautiful moment. Words being captured on camera. Opening up a fresh tub of lard. Really doesn't get much better than this. One of life's most hidden and undervalued joys. Yeah, I don't know about plastic though. Plastic's a hassle. Just look how this stuff is thick compared to the other stuff. Now that's a spoonful right there. Look at that. Oh, I love it. A proper spoonful. So that ought to be enough right there. 11 pounds of beans require a lot of lard. You know, a bean by itself is dry, you know, and this is going to be going on rice, you know, so it's kind of a, you know, this is the flavor right here, you know, and lard really holds the flavor good. So, I mean, you can't skimp out on it. And, you know, that's like a little handful of lard and 25 pounds of food. Not bad. So I'm going to fry this up. That's died down. Beans have been simmering. The bark is kindling. So I'm gonna give it that bark. Some fresh woods. And I'm gonna pull these beans. Oh wow. Oh wow. Those beans are heavy. Ugh. That's not good. This is like, you know, high heat plastic, probably asbestos. It's finally cracked. Cracked under the heat. Couldn't take the heat. So this part right here, this pot, is the goodness. All of the fine flavors. I don't want to lick lard off of a spoon though. So I want this to heat up a little. Actually, I'm gonna need my bigger spoon for that. This. Just clean this off in my beans. Use this to fish out my things. So these drink up all the water. So this is kind of like sweating the juices out of the onions and peppers and sausages, but I'm gonna need to add water to it. That's a rip roaring fire now. Okay. Clean that spoon later. Alright, now what I need is my big spoon. I'll tell you. Beautiful smell. I don't like that it's sticking to the sides already. Forgot I had tomatoes in there. Very nice. As Chef Paul Prudhomme would say, these black bits is where all the flavor's at. You gotta scrape those off and use those. Oh, and about this is jambalaya beans. If this were gonna be more actual jambalaya beans, I would put rice in and fry rice with this. Dry rice, I'd put some dry rice in this and fry it up with all this stuff. And then I'm using just to coat the outsides of the rice with the grease. There's like a Spanish dish where you do that. Kind of fry up the dry rice. They do it with tomatoes. Fry up that dry rice. And then add the water. I'm using white rice, long grain, so it's equal part, you know. So the question is, can I fit all those beans in this pot with all that meat and veg and a pound of rice? I don't think it's gonna fit. But, you know, I would put in that pound of rice, and let's say it's 5 cups of rice. I'd put in 5 cups of chicken stock. 5 cups of water with 5 spoons of that chicken stock that I put in there, you know, the chicken bouillon, the fake chicken bouillon. Or if I actually had chicken broth, you know, liquid, I would pour that in, you know. So I'd fry up the rice and all this nice grease. And then I would add the 5 cups of water that the rice needs to cook properly after it's had a few minutes to fry. Dry fry. Onions are caramelized good. Starting to go translucent, I mean. And I gotta stir this a lot so it doesn't burn. This is a thin-walled pot, and right now it's burning off all that bark I put in there, so it's incredibly high heat over a thin wall. But eventually it'll burn down. Crazy hot putting my hand in there. Kind of like almost singeing my hair. Not quite. Not this time. Gotta watch the summertime snow flurries. All the little seed pods flying around. Drifting. Very nice. Something and something.
It goes into showing the medical technology and laying out the fact that the state.
This is a little bit of water, not much.
heartbeat though is just a little bit different. And then I moved on into the 20-week ban, which is where
so it's
that have a 20-week ban based on
been too dry to use rainwater. That thing is empty. Those are empty. This one's still full. Most of my containers are empty, and it's like you might as well just buy drinking water, since it's kind of not enough water. So that's pretty well fried. I'm gonna give it some water. Once it starts raining, you know, this is how long it's gone without rain. When I filled up all of my big black containers, I fill up these. These are my emergency reserves. I got a pile of them. So it's been a while since it's rained. So this is going to be a two-handed process. I'm going to add those beans to this pot. So it's got the beans. I diced up that bundle of celery. I'll do that scraping later. This is what is this? Just regular tomato diced. And this is the stuff with the green pepper, onion, and celery. So that's already kind of Trinity-fied. I guess this is blessed. It's got the Holy Trinity in it. There's the Trinity. This is the last I got of this. This is about half a cup of the Creole. Give that a pour. It's gonna need more seasoning than that. But I'll do those seasons differently, separately. And then I'm gonna top this off with some water. A little more. So this is a 3-gallon pot. And it's hard to tell, but it is mounted over the top of a 3-gallon pot. The joys of canning. This is 25 pounds of food right here. So good. So good. I'm gonna need like a shovel, like a small garden shovel, to mix this. So deep. It's like sedimentary rock. There's layers in here, you know, you can kind of dig down to a different layer, and it's like I'm really not getting down to the meat layer. So I mean, you kind of see this chicken's already cooked. You know, it was frying for a little bit, give it a little sear in the lard, and then poured in that initial water, and then the bean juice, which was like water and other stuff, chicken stock. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. This is probably gonna take about 5 minutes just to mix that good. A spatula, metal spatula, was the longest one I could find. Longest, you know, actual kitchen utensil. I got a bunch somewheres, but I think they're all, I couldn't find them. I think they're all too short. That is so beautiful. and tasty. It doesn't even really got salt yet. I'm gonna add the salt later, closer to the once it's done. So those beans are pretty much cooked. You know, like right now, I could probably eat this as it is, but I'm gonna let this kind of stew down a little bit on this fire. Like that celery hasn't really cooked, so it's got contaminants on it. So I want to boil that, simmer that. The fire's died down now. Bunch of glowing embers. Hard to tell, but it turns your skin pink as your skin starts to cook. It turns pink. Too cloudy today. Maybe cloudy again tomorrow. Once that's simmered for a bit. Maybe like once that fire, once those logs are pretty much down to embers, I'm gonna can that, put those in jars. I got another box of, I think, pint jars or something. And then I got some more quart jars, you know, so I got 18 pint jars, which should, most of that should fit into 18 pints, I'm thinking. But then if it doesn't, I can just put it in some quart jars, the remainder. So there's just no room. That's a 3-gallon pot. That's my biggest pot right there. There's just no room to put rice in there. And it's like I'd end up putting it in more jars, you know. And they make instant rice, which is very nice. Instant rice. Just boil some water, throw the instant rice in there, and take it off the fire, and just let it sit. And then it's good, you know. Do a day's worth of rice when I'm just doing my morning coffee, you know. So I really don't need to put rice in there. But I'm going to be putting this on a bed of fresh made rice, which is, you know, jambalaya. So it's some jambalaya black eyed peas. Creole style jambalaya black eyed peas. So did the dishes, cleaned up a little, and had a boil over. That's rough. Lost a lot of nice grease down the side of things. So I guess it's healthier now. Healthier, but not quite as tasty. Good thing is, you know, that grease was at the bottom. It was one of the first things in there, you know, so it's kind of coated the beans and coated everything as I've been filling it up. So, I'm going to call that done, you know. It's been boiling now for, I don't know, 30 minutes maybe. It's taken me to do the dishes. I don't want to lose any more. So I'm going to take it off the fire and then can it, get it in the jars, and go from there. So I got 24. I didn't think I had that many. I was down to, this is the jerk red bean chicken and rice. Down to 4 of those cans left. Wow, I went through those fast. So I got 24 pint jars. So I haven't given it any salt. I could use salt. I mean, there's a little bit of salt in my Creole seasoning, but not much. This is the Tony Chachere's. Chachere's. It's mostly salt. And it's Creole flavored. It's Creole salt. So I'm gonna give it, let's say, 1 tablespoon for every half pound of beans. My handy dandy mixer. Very nice. Oh wow. Yeah, it is off the boil, right off the boil. Okay, there we go. Kind of hard to see. Does need some more oil. You know, I think I lost too much lard in the thing. Kind of see how these look dry, you know, after the initial thing. Could use a little more glistenings. So, andouille pork sausage. Chicken and pork summer sausage. Smoked sausage, I mean. Some chicken. Onion. Black-eyed pea. Celery. Couple tomatoes. Green bell pepper. I can't remember if I said onion, but onion. 3 kinds of meat, 1 kind of bean, but 3 pounds of it. So gave it a bunch of Creole seasoning. Let's see how it's doing on salt. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there it is. That's pretty good. Give it some liquid smoke. So smokiness is a good thing for jambalaya. So the spice and what makes Creole seasoning spicy? Oh wow, I got a big look at this. This is trippy. Cooking with modern foods right here. That is chicken that has pieces of sausage and onion in it. It's like multiple pieces of chicken that have cooked into like a solid mass of chicken that's embedded with onion and sausage. That's modern foods for you right there. Chicken embedded with onion and sausage. I like it. Oh, cayenne pepper. Gives the Creole. It's Creole-ness. Yeah, I'm liking that. So it's a little runny, even though there was a boil over, but it'll thicken up as it cooks in the solar oven. So I'm going to can this, pop it in the solar oven, and you know, every day take out a jar or two to eat from the solar oven, and then once I get down to maybe 12 left or something, I'll bring, you know, that whole rack of them in from the solar oven. And probably a few days, you know, 3 or 4 days. I think it's going to be cloudy for the next few days, so it's important that I boil it good to kill everything that was on that celery and everything that was on the other stuff, you know. So it's boiled, and it's so much mass in here. I mean, it's been outside off the boil now for about 5-10 minutes. So I've been doing whatevers, you know, but it's still pretty much boiling hot because it's just got so much mass. 25 pounds of mass, you know. It's like it maintains its heat for a long time, and it's hot out, you know. What do we got? 100 degrees. So, you know, it's gonna be cloudy for the next few days, but it's not gonna be. There's not enough in this. This is hot enough to kill most things that land on it, you know, because it's pretty much boiling. It's a few degrees under boiling right now, you know. So it's pretty much hot enough to kill whatever's landing on it, you know, and then it's going straight into these jars, you know, where it'll kill whatever's inside the jar, you know. These have been washed, you know, rinsed and washed, so they're clean, but there's bacteria and things on everything, bacteria and yeast on everything. So, you know, the water that I'm washing with is dirty, the soap that I'm washing with is dirty, you know, they all got the little bacterias and things, but they'll be pretty much killed by this, you know. And then, you know, the sun will come out, you know. I might do some wet canning, you know, but probably not. I got more wood right there, you know, that I've split so I can do a water bath canning, but, you know, maybe do a double layer of jars in this pot, you know. But that sounds like a hassle, you know. I think I'm just gonna pop them in the solar oven and call it good. 23 pints. So pretty much 2 boxes of jars, and then 1 bowl full. Straight beans. This is gonna need new glass. Mark 1 lid. Way too floppy. It bends and moves and all that jazz. So glass just likes to crack. Whew. Very nice. One more thing to clean. Bowl of goodness. Get this eaten down first before the flies get to it.
That they couldn't possibly do it, and it, you know, it's out of their reach.